it was a good day. And it was an even better day for us, okay, with this interview. Y'all, we're going down the rabbit hole again for part 2 of this through the lens of what we know now, recapping and reviewing this. And we're going to go over all of it in today's video. Y'all, before we get into today's video, I want to thank Screwjam for making today's video and my sanity possible. Download Screwjam now using the link in my description or the QR code on the screen. If y'all been following me, you know times have been kind of crazy around here. 2 new puppies have kept me going non-stop. In addition to covering the trial, y'all, I have needed a mental break and Screwjam has been there for me. So what is Screwjam? Well, I'll tell you what Screwjam is, okay. Screwjam is a challenging puzzle game where you remove and match screws to progress through different levels. You're testing your problem solving and strategic thinking skills. So while you're strategically removing and matching screws and making your way through these different levels, you're building a city, which is really cool to me. And here's the thing with this game that really works for me, is it's one of those things where you can like pick it up real quick and do it a couple of times and then put it down. It's not like it has to suck up your entire day or hours or whatever. It's very good for like quick little bits of distraction, which have come in so handy while covering some of these crazy cases that we do here at the Sofa Squad. Now, another big plus for me is number 1, it's free to download and you don't need Wi-Fi for this, right? I've played this game in so many bizarre places, waiting for groceries at the grocery store, airplanes, you name it. That's one really big plus for me with this. You pick it up quick and you can be anywhere to play it. Another thing I like about it is a very easy game to learn, but it does become more challenging as you go on. So you don't just lose interest in it because it's so easy, but it allows you to get to know the game and how to do it and build that confidence up. It's also achieved a rating of 4.7 on the App Store. Now there's also in-game events when you complete levels, you earn points, you unlock rewards, boosters, coins, hearts, you name it, it's got it. And look, if you download Screwjam by using the link in my description or scanning the QR code, you're going to receive 3 hours of infinite life and 100 coins. So download Screwjam now and dive into a brain-teasing journey. Challenge yourself, sharpen your strategic thinking skills, all while having fun. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. The sofa's back there. My name is Paul if you're new to the channel, or if you're not new to the channel and didn't know who I was, well, my name's Paul. Not that it matters. Anyways, I hope y'all are doing well. Now, today, I am recording this. It is the beginning of October. The trial is currently being held over till next week because the storm is headed to Florida. Now, what we're going to be doing today is reviewing the interview/interrogation of Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone is currently on trial for taking the life of her boyfriend, George Torres, by getting him into a suitcase and ignoring his pleas for help, and he eventually suffocated. Now, we reviewed this interview/interrogation years ago, right? When it first came out. Now, we know all this information. We've seen her try and suppress it and get this extracted and da. So going back over it through the lens of the information we have now is honestly next level to me, okay? Like, if you've watched part 1, then you already know. My mouth is just on the ground. So what I'm going to ask you to do for this is look at this through the lens of, first and foremost, this interview, whatever, Sarah Boone is asking now for us to basically be like, she was a battered wife syndrome, you know, defense, all that kind of stuff. Look at it through the lens of her trying to get it suppressed, accountability, I'm the victim, I was forced to do this interview, I was afraid, all these things that if you've been following this, you know, okay? And the way the video will work is we are going to put up clips and then I'll talk about them. Very simple. We're literally starting off where we left off last. Y'all, usually what I'll do is pick out highlights of stuff and go over it. However, for this, I literally am pushing play and just stopping along the way and talking. Okay, we're going through it line by line, basically, because so much of it has come back into context now that I feel like every bit of it is relevant, from the body language and all that. Now, before we get even started mentioning that, if you're new here, please understand, I ain't a cop, I ain't a lawyer, I ain't a psychologist, I'm not no body language person, I ain't none of that fancy credential stuff, okay? The only thing we got up in here as far as credentials goes is a sofa, some sass, and some self-diagnosed personality disorders on my own part, but that's a whole other channel. That's a whole other video, for God's sake. Okay. But just know that this is just my opinions here from the sofa. It's like we're hanging out, talking about the true crime cases that we watch and whatnot, okay? It's public information. It's just my opinion. I urge you to come up with your own, and there's that. So let's go ahead and get that first clip up. And again, this is just kind of starting a little bit into it because we covered the first part in the first video. So here we go.
And you have to understand, too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him
I
out
know.
the next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car, just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it, like the car would jostle. He was throwing all his stuff.
So much in this first clip. Okay. My God. Now remember, the reason we stopped at the point that we did before is because they were getting ready to show her what they have on the laptop, right? So again, if you've watched part one or if you're familiar with this, you'll know that this whole time Sarah's sitting here, look on my phone, you're going to see the thing that I'm the victim, basically. And it's like, girl, the evidence that we found on the phone don't really show that. Okay. Now also, I will bring this up again. She talks about George like he is her or was her pet. He's this burden, he's this, he's that. You know, I said in the first part, and I'll say it again at the beginning of this, you know, number one, I don't want to be misconstrued or anything like that for me to sit here and sound like, oh, all situations of this kind of stuff are the same, and you can't believe her in this and that. Absolutely not. These are very nuanced, intricate situations. So when the detective, the female detective, brings up the fact of, or the male detective, whoever said it, when she's like, I did the I got him arrested so many times, and like, but you bailed him out the next day. Okay, oftentimes we will see in a truly abusive relationship that something like this is going on where the victim will go get the person out, right? Oftentimes they don't have a choice, okay? Because if you know, you know, right? They could be in a scenario where they know, it gives me goosebumps. They know the person's going to get out and it's going to be worse for them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to make sure that I'm not being like misinterpreted as saying like, this is just a generic, oh, you can't believe somebody who's saying this, because you can, but, and there is a but, okay? In this situation, I do not view it as that at all. I do not think she was in fear for her life whatsoever at all. I think she's making this up. Also, since we're at the start of this video, I will say, yes, I'm totally aware. This, across the board, was a toxic relationship. Nobody's denying this at all. It took two to tango on many of these scenarios that we've seen. And I'm not trying to say that in a negative connotation against George. It is what it is. The state has addressed this. They have made this very clear of, look, we know this wasn't a walk in the park. We're not trying to say it was, right? But what we are saying is it's not as Sarah's trying to present it. And that's what I'm saying too. So just understand that I like to get out of the way because I don't want anyone to ever sit here and think, well, gosh, why is he saying that they were this? You know, George lost life. I'm completely aware of that, but I'm also aware that there was definitely things going on. I probably would venture to say maybe Sarah was often the instigator of them, but I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just going based on what I can see and some of the testimony that we're hearing come out in the stand, as well as, you know, in interviews and whatnot. So that being said, let's go on to the next clip.
At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is,
I'm sorry, I had to pause right there. Okay, so this is my theory, and I think we'll find this out in the stand. You heard her just say when they were like, but if you come over here, it's permanent. You're not going back over there. You know, remember, we'll hear her say here in a little bit how much his family hated her. We'll also have heard her say, I was terrified of his family. You know that his family probably could not stand Sarah, okay? And that 100% they were probably like, George, if you come over here, you're not going back over there. You're getting away from this woman, from this relationship. Y'all do not work well together at all. It is drama. Stay away. Do you think Sarah was going to have that? No, she wasn't. Let's keep going.
Pursues me. So, I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know, too, what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's going to do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got, like, a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But what does he say? Every waking moment he wants to be with me.
Please, every waking moment he wants to be with her. I'm sorry. The dogs are looking at me. Okay, I was not there, thank God, right? Okay, I wasn't there. I don't know these people. I don't know them. I don't know the relationship. Okay, but what I do know is what we've seen of Sarah so far. And the whole part that makes me think she's lying is when she goes, oh, what did she say? She paused for a second to make it up. Again, I'm no body language expert. Go on over to that channel. You know, we all watch it. They'll be able to dissect it. But when she said, it's like she was pausing to make it up. He said he wanted to spend every waking second with me. I'm so sure. Now, maybe he did. Maybe that was part of their toxicity. Maybe they were glued together. But also notice when she was talking about that one part where she was like, he would get off work, this is when they were separated, and poke his head over the wall because I'd be out there. And she was like, and then he'd do it again. I'd be like, oh, he's getting off work. I know he's going to do it again. I couldn't ever get a break from him. I'm thinking this. Then why not go? You know he's going to come at that time. Then don't go out there. This is the simplicity that she's not realizing these little things as she's sitting here telling on herself. That I'm sure the detectives are like, what? But overall, remember, why are you going on this tangent? Okay, this is the thing with Sarah. She just goes on and on and on and on about this stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, we just asked you what time it was. And 30 minutes later, we're getting a history into why you wore, a blue dress on the first day of school in 3rd grade, okay? It's like, we didn't ask for all this.
So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? You kind of like lost me. Like what are you?
It was a
about?
while like.
I love this detective. Okay. Cope, so I believe her name is. Literally, it's like we're on this, even though I've seen this multiple times, it's like we're the same wavelength. Because when Sarah's doing all that, literally my thought is like, okay, wait, hold on. What are we talking about? And I just love that she's like, is this recent? Like, you just kind of lost me here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Where Sarah, I'm just like, what are you talking about? And again, what she's talking about is she's just making stuff up because she's nervous. This is my opinion, right? Even though she's sitting here turning plea deals down, taking all the way to trial, this to me is a nervous person reaction of going on and on. Now, also remember, this is active addiction Sarah that we're seeing, okay? You look at her when she shows her arms like this and you can see the loss of muscle mass compared to her now. She looks much healthier. She looks, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but plumper, right? Like she is actually getting nourishment. And so in this video, like when I see, my heart honestly aches when she moves her arms and I see what they look like. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a very unwell human being, right? And my heart does ache in that way to see that. And so this is an active addiction and that it's sad on that level because you're seeing this just spin itself out of control. However, even though it is that is not a blanket thing of, oh, well, then a person in active addiction, of course they're going to kill somebody. 100% not, right? So many people from different walks of life have different issues and whatnot, but they don't do things like this. You know what I'm saying? And they don't dig their heels into the sand after they've done it, and honestly, in my opinion, spit on the victim's grave for 5 years after, okay? I understand any normal human being is going to try and get the best situation possible. I get it, right? That's just, what do you call it? Self-preservation or whatever. However, it's a hard pill to swallow when you're watching this kind of thing and you know what's at the center of the case, which is George.
A little while ago. But
Now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately, or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is, too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like, she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she, completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff.
Now, here's one thought I had, and again, I don't know any of this, but it might come out in the stand, might have already come out now that, the trial's going on and whatnot. When she's talking about his ex-wife and all this type of stuff, imagine this. Now, and again, I get they both had issues, both Sarah and George, whatever, but imagine this scenario. I'll just pose this to you. Knowing what we know now, even prior to the suitcase situation, would you want your child to be under the roof with these two? You know what I'm saying? Not trying to say anything bad, whatever, but the scenario that's going on with what we can see that was probably taking place with the drinking, the fighting, the arguing, doesn't matter who it's coming from, right? Because at the end of the day, when a kid's involved and both parties doing whatever, we're not concerned about they started this. It's going on, okay? And if there's a choice to not have the child there, I personally am I don't blame her. Now, I don't know her reasonings. Maybe she is doing what Sarah said, right? This could be true. I don't know. But just when Sarah's talking about this, I'm like, girl, I wouldn't want my kid over there either. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we're going to get into all this type of stuff, but also, I view Sarah's things as little confessions. Now, I don't know the time. So when I'm recording this, Brian has not gotten on the stand, and who I'm referring to is her ex-husband, Sarah's ex-husband, the father of her child. If he gets up on that stand talking about Sarah is withholding the child from him and using the child as leverage at times, wouldn't surprise me. Again, if you look at people like Sarah through the filter of they give you little confessions by what they say about other people, it's a whole new perspective.
It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this has not been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What does she have to do, though, with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday?
Absolutely love this. I absolutely love this, okay? What does she have? Why are we talking about her, right? Again, it's a diversion tactic or whatever you call it, when you're trying to change the subject or whatever. But again, I mean, this is 100% what's going on. It's just with Sarah, it's how do we end up here? I fear when she gets on the stand, okay? If you've been here at the sofa or not, whatever, if you followed the case or followed it with us, the Nancy Brophy trial, if you didn't, when you're super bored and maybe you're I'm kind of having a mental bad health week and I want to punish myself, go watch her on the stand, okay? You will feel better about so many things in life. She goes on and on and on. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. But she told on herself, essentially. And I just think that's what Sarah's going to do. She's doing it in the interview. She's doing it this whole time. For 5 years, this is what she's done. Can you imagine her in the cell every evening after she's gone and done in court? Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just saying, previously,
okay,
why the incidents, what happened is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
On top of job and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, When I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house? at
Nope,
any
it's just
point?
me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any, like, timelines better? Like, what time you guys were playing, what time he was zipped up in the luggage, what time you
I
went
told you-
upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around
Mhm.
4:30ish, and then,
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious
Yeah.
if you remember.
but when we were outside, that's where we would start
Mhm.
and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside, so we could
About
do
what
stuff.
time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
Okay, this is very interesting to watch this because remember, as she's sitting here talking, it's Sarah, and she's just all over the place right now, right? She's falling all over herself, in my opinion. And they're trying to, like, hone her in. We're getting back on track to what happened Sunday night. What time did you do this? It makes me roll my eyes every time she says hide and seek. The hide and seek thing to me was a couple of things. Either so I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I think a couple of things could happen. She either told him to hide, like, we're going to hide you in the suitcase because the cops are coming. You know, probably is very normal, as we've seen with body cam footage, for them to get crocked and the cops to be called. And so remember the one video that came out? I can't remember where it was, but it was like he was hiding in the bathtub. So this tells you there's something up with that, because you have to question, how does she get him in the suitcase? So there's some reason. So she could have been like, okay, a couple of things here. Remember how the neighbors are talking about, we heard this like thud and this arguing around this certain time. What if Sarah was upstairs, was like, I'm gonna call the cops, you need to get in the suitcase. She gets him in there, and then the abuse starts. She throws him down the stairs, and then like where we see her, you know, in the video talking to him or whatever. But also she's telling the officers, oh, we had this conversation and we did this and we did that, you know, we played games, we played hide and seek, bah, 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 bah. Well, then when you see the video and she's like, this is for all the times you did that, you know, he's like, Sarah, this is for when you did this, you know, that whole thing. What I think went on is just an hours long drunken argument that ended up in her getting him in the suitcase and then her throwing the suitcase around, abusing him to the suitcase, and obviously we know, unfortunately, him coming to his untimely death in it. So that part of the story is one that only Sarah will ever know, right? Because obviously her victim George is not here to tell. But I think, in my opinion, it's somewhere in that family. But let me know what you think about that dynamic in the comment section as to how she got him in the suitcase and where that began, upstairs and down, and like what would be the reasoning to get him in there. Because I don't think it was, let's play hide and seek. I don't think it was that at all.
And you said you went up to bed around
Midnight.
fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or...
Like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then...
You're talking about from hanging out outside and, like...
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
Right.
just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So...
Real quick, think back, whether you drink now or you did whatever, whenever, or if you never drank, I don't know, like, make something up. Imagine having to recount like your life depended on it, a drunken evening. Imagine that. This is where she's fighting for her life right here. Okay, I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, girl, you're probably doing better than me, because I'm sorry, I would be like, okay, yeah, you're right, there is a big window missing, I don't know what to tell you. And my guess is anybody's too. Y'all, tell me and we'll both know, as Sarah says.
Let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started listening to music for a little bit, started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe puzzle. We worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
This part is so cringy to me because I absolutely do not believe it. Okay, I don't want to paint. Just envision what she's talking about. Well, we went back inside, worked on the puzzle for an hour and a half, and then from there, we paint. Oh, God, we did that for a long time. And then, okay, oh my God, can we not paint anymore? Let's play hide and seek. Okay, tag, you're it. It doesn't make any sense. Only through a drunken lens does it. Because I'm sitting here thinking about, I'm like, oh, wait, I can remember some pretty, fun times in my early 20s, some pizza fights, you know what I mean? Like just stupid, drunken, youthful stuff, whatever. So what she's describing, I'm just like, this doesn't, I don't think most of it happened. I mean, probably some of it, but I can imagine her coming over, like putting a few pieces of the puzzle together. She could have gotten up the next morning and done all this stuff to try and come up with an alibi. They could have been sitting there literally just arguing all night long until she got him in there. But her going through it, and notice also the detective Copesel, the female detective, her foot just shaking, because again, it's like Sarah's going through all this, and they have this evidence on the computer that's just like, okay, but what about this? And she's not gonna know what to say.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down. And the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there, yes, and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well,
I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that time, but
I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so...
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them.
Again, so this part right here, we completely take the conversation and go to her son's clothes. The suitcase is in the back of our closet, which is upstairs. She got him, I believe she got him in the staircase upstairs and threw him down the stairs. That started it off. She's going, the part where she goes, no, no. Now, one thing I keep forgetting to say, when I'm doing all these motions, I'm like copying her as we go, because she's I talk with my hands too, so I can't say anything, but she's so verbal with her hands, and she has these same things. This is her favorite move. We're going to call it the sideways doggy paddle. The sideways doggy paddle is like one of her favorite things to do. That was, right, we get a little Sarah Boone dance going on up here.
So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not, but... Obviously, no. I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, yes. He was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So...
Right.
I'm waiting for her to be like, so we got on Realtor.com to find a bigger house where we have more places to play hide and seek. Now, this being said, there is that game show. I don't know if it's a game show, whatever you call them these days. Some kind of show. I don't know if it's on Real TV or YouTube or TikTok or whatever. That professional hide and seek game. Y'all, Sarah might have... This is where society is today. Y'all, if she does ever walk free and that show's still going on, they'll have her on it. And she'll probably win.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes.
Okay, y'all, brace yourselves. You know where this is going if you've been following this. The cringe is so painful to me right now, y'all. I literally want to crawl underneath the pretend sofa. This is so bad, watching her be like, I think I took a picture of a dog. Oh, you did more than that, honey. You did way more than that. You know she's just absolutely beating herself up over that.
It's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's a
Yeah.
shared phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay,
He'll
but
bring
how
it to
does
me
he
and
get
do it.
into it because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me, and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes, too, like, look, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No.
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm
Yes.
assuming, other than...
Well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
The dogs.
George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm curious about this. We're going to get personal here. So the part where she's talking, the detective's asking Sarah, now you already know if you've watched this or are familiar with the case, where she's walking her through, dotting I's, crossing T's. No one else has access to the phone. And I see where the detective's trying to ask, like, does George have access to your phone? Like, he has his thumbprint on there. He has his password or whatever, the facial recognition, all that. No. And Sarah's like, well, he'll bring it and put it up to my face, but he doesn't have the password to my phone or any of that. This is a part where I'm like, oh, okay. And this is a to each their own. This is not judgmental, but this is just my curiosity. So in a relationship, basically what I'm getting at is, to me, from like my past relationships and a relationship, it's odd to me that he doesn't have access to her phone. Being as intertwined as they sound like they were, you have each one of them has kids, each one of them has past relationships, this and that, working, adulting, all this kind of stuff. So for me, Matt has access to my phone, right? And this is not in a way of like, well, let me see who you're talking to. This is in a way of like what she's talking about of, oh, you're doing this or that, or Matt, will you respond to mom and say this? Or Matt, oh, will you do this? Or for me, honestly, it's, I can't figure out how to do this. Will you please handle this while I go do this over here? That type of thing. So to me, just, again, it's just me being nosy, I guess. But I'm just like, I just think it's odd that he doesn't have access to her phone. You know, because I'm just like, again, it's the control thing for me. Where at the end of the day, she's like, oh no, he doesn't have the password of this. Now, obviously, you can just come up and put her face up to it, right? I get that. But again, it's just one more of those little nuances with the relationship that I'm like, I would be curious to know if she had his password.
Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh, okay.
Y'all. You know, the battery dying there, I cannot with that, y'all. First of all, you know, she always gets these lucky breaks, right? Because you know she's quickly going over her mind. You know she absolutely ruined her pants when they put that video on. And she had to be like, what? Like, oh my God. Like, immediately thinking like, it would be a punch in your stomach to see that evidence. An absolute gut punch, okay? Poor George. Sarah, and you heard her, this is time. Mouthful of marbles. Mouthful of marbles. Talking about we barely drank this and that, and it was a good day. And then this video, it doesn't get any better than this.
Let me...
The battery doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and...
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like...
I don't think you all understand who I am, where...
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything.
Y'all, I cannot. I've always been a straight A student. I'm a wonderful mother of my son. I excel at everything. Girl, I have a feeling Brian's going to get on the stand and tell us differently. But he did it right here with the cops. Like, well, why'd you say it like this? Like, what? You know, where she's just immediately giving him the sass. I don't think you know who I am. Oh, girl, we know. Okay, we know. We're getting ready to find out more, right? It's this whole part here. The cringe is so painful. Okay, y'all, when they're talking about, yeah, it's the weirdest thing, and by 2000, what year is this? 2024, the Hollywood, you know, all the production companies are crashing and all that. We don't know why. Stuff like this is why, okay? You can't recreate this. Like, there's so many layers to it you cannot recreate, right? This is what I'm just like, oh my God. I immediately glued to the screen, cannot look away.
I would not do that.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't, like, completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please.
Does you want to know what's on it? Now, okay, notice this too. So this is one of the center things of Sarah that I think we're still seeing. I want to put him in there, and when he says, so you want to put anyone in there? I didn't close it all the way. People like Sarah are very good at immediately taking the information that you say and almost being like, oh God, I can't get out of it. So I'll just say, I didn't close it all the way. You see what I'm saying? So she's in some way telling on herself that some way she did put him in there, but then I opened it with one finger and I didn't mean to go upstairs and go to sleep. 100% she views this as, in my opinion, I don't know her obviously, as this was an accident. She didn't mean to. And when she starts ranting on about unintentional, okay, we get it, right? But just those dynamics there, she doesn't understand. And again, this is how I view this, okay? You go out drinking and driving, you pass out behind the wheel, you veer off, you hit someone head on and kill the family. Well, I didn't mean to fall asleep there. I didn't mean to do that. I certainly didn't mean to kill them. Well, I have no doubt that you didn't mean to kill them, right? Not many people would mean to go do that, even if they're drinking and driving, but because of your actions, someone's dead. Now, what's different in this is that Sarah is, even if she's blacked out, she's sitting here listening to George begging to be let out, and she ignores it. She can't seem to grasp that.
Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
That part right there. Is it long? I don't know how much I can take. Well, how do you think George felt in the suitcase? So these are the parts that her, and I don't want to say the real Sarah comes out, but it's like one of the personalities, right? And this is the uncaring, unempathetic, cold, this is going to put me out. Everything from her perspective is me. right? Now, I get we're all human. We all have this, like, I'm the center of the universe kind of thing. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's almost like human nature. But then there's this level that's the abnormal version of it, right? Because we're all the center of our own universes, okay? Like, we get that, okay? But Sarah and people like her take it to this next extreme where it's like they're willing to do this next level stuff or whatever because no one else matters. And like in this level right here, the last thing I would want to say is something that just like fell from her lips, okay?
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
Okay, this part right here. So we're getting ready to see the thing, whatever, but I just want to say this real quick. Again, she doubles down. I throw up. I do this. I do this. Feel sorry for me. I'm the martyr. I'm the victim. And now you hear the detective where all niceness is leaving. You know what? It's on your phone. We're giving you a chance to tell us what it is. Now remember, this is like a tactic, right? Yes, they are kind of being truthful in this, like, we're giving you a chance, but this is where she messes up because it's like, if I was Sarah and I had my wits about me and almost like you know what you know now type thing, this is the point that I would say, I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer. 100% I want a lawyer. This was the moment to say, shut it down. Can't talk my way out of this. This is really bad. I want a lawyer. Or you watch the whole video so you know, and then you ask for a lawyer. Now, yes, as we know now, they were going to arrest her no matter what. They were just trying to gather evidence and intel out of her. And she was all the more happy to offer it up.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
I'm sorry, it's not funny. But the thing she goes, that's my name, don't wear it out. Stupid. F you. Now here's the thing. Let's go back to our battered wife syndrome, battered spouse syndrome, whatever, defense. Think about the scenarios, okay, of these situations, abusive victims and whatnot. Do we think someone that is claiming they were absolutely afraid for their life would zip a man up in a suitcase, knowing if he really wanted to, he could get out because you're scared for your life, and then berate him, call him stupid, F you, that's my name, don't wear it out? Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please. Okay.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out, and you
I
went
flipped
to bed.
him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
And there's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions, and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying, fuck you.
So this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image, it's upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way.
Okay, this is the part. Well, not just this is the part, but many parts. Listen to what the detective is saying. Okay, over here, the suitcase is this way. 11 minutes later, it's this way. Now, again, Sarah, in typical fashion of personalities like this, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to say it. I love that they keep playing it in the background and hear him, Sarah, babe, I can't breathe. This is the gut-wrenching, heartbreaking part We're listening to someone slowly lose their life. And she is saying, F you, don't wear my name out, blah, 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 blah. You know, and this man is like, this is not good, okay? It gives me goosebumps. This is a horrible way to die, okay? This is awful. The fact that she was so far gone and full of whatever that she was able to go upstairs and ignore that and get probably pleasure out of it is insane to me. Insane. That's not a drunk or an active addict. That's this particular person, what lies beneath. You see what I'm saying? I can't imagine what he was thinking in those moments. Now, and again, I love how the detectives are just literally laying this all out. But again, it goes down into the whole thing of we're going down a sofa speculation. If she threw him down the stairs and he gets injured, and then she's flipping him over. I mean, I personally think she probably got objects and was hitting him. You know, she's, again, for whatever reason, documents the stuff. Thank God she did, right? Once again, look through the lens of battered spouse syndrome. You've locked someone up in the suitcase. You're afraid for your life. Think of that show that I talked about, The Worst Ex Ever, where the girl jumps out of the car, she runs in the grocery store, ends up running to a hospital, calling whatever, and it's still trying to cover for the guy because she's afraid he's still going to kill her. She's that afraid of him. Do you think someone who is truly victimized to that level, and Sarah's over here, well, he could get out of the suitcase. I only put 2 fingers. He could stick his fingers through, Then why in heaven's name would you taunt the man who you felt was going to take your life in that moment and stick around to do it and be comfortable enough to have done that and go upstairs and pass out? 0 sense.
Closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now, he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
but not intentional.
Okay. Here and we begin. Where's my damn cop? Do I have it on here? Y'all already know. I got the unintentional. Okay. Not intentional, but I didn't mean to. Not intentional. That is at the heart of her zero accountability, because she does not think she meant to. And in her world, I can understand where you're thinking, again, I didn't mean to I didn't mean to kill that family and head on. I didn't start off the evening with that. It was just a good time. Okay, I have no doubt that I don't personally think you woke up that morning and said, I'm going to go turn the keys on my car and do a head on drunk. I don't think you did that at all. Sarah, I don't think you put him in that suitcase and said, I'm going to let him suffocate. How would you even know, right? No doubt. But you did, and she doesn't get that. And on top of, but you did, you're taunting him. He's also telling you he can't breathe. He's saying he can't breathe. And you ignore it and go upstairs. But I was drunk. Now that's what she's also saying. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We already know they offered her 15 years for manslaughter. She turned it down. At minimum, that's what this could be, right? This is a manslaughter. You didn't mean to do it. You got drunk. You put him in there. You didn't know he was going to whatever. Here's 15 years. You serve 5. She doesn't even want to do that. Absurd.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't know, what you want me to tell you.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't know. This is these little confessions. Personality types like Sarah, and she's probably being very truthful. She looks for, what does this person need to be told? What do I need to say? And she can't. She's at a loss. Anybody would be, right? What they are saying makes, they meaning the detectives, makes total sense. What Sarah's saying doesn't. There was no way for him to get out. Now this could work more into her benefit of, well, I got him locked in there. I was afraid for my life. Okay, well then why'd you go upstairs? Why didn't you call 911? Why didn't you pack your stuff up, leave the house, never come back again? You know, many things, right? It blows my mind. Now you also saw her jump up there. She's a damn video, you know, what do you call it? Not video editor, but you know, a forensic video person all of a sudden. Well, there's the head. You know, Sarah's just right in there. You know, I'm just like, going from, I had no idea this video was on there, to she's like, hold on, I'm going to crack the damn case now. Let me just get in here for a second.
I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you.
It's not malicious.
Then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well...
Like if I were to tell my partner...
like he does. Like, I get told everything but a white woman, so...
Okay.
My intention was not to leave him in there.
Notice the garble that just came out of her mouth. Well, like he does. I get called everything like this. Immediately blaming him for something. Turns it right around to blaming him for something. You know, not malicious. They didn't even get to say it, right? She took the words right out of her mouth. Now, well, what does that mean to you? Well, he says this. Again, imagine the attorneys that she went through, that she was saying, I want to use this defense, and they're like, I've seen the video, girl. It ain't gonna fly. It's not going to work.
Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself out, but the video shows
That's what I told
point
you.
can I see his fingers.
He'll be up here any minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you think
not
he's
able to get out.
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we
laughing.
first got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to recording this?
No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
you're the only one laughing.
But I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before, too, where it's just like he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like,
He's never been locked in a suitcase. That's where he couldn't get out. So
it's kind of...
Okay, again, can we please send these detectives something? So pushing on a suitcase saying, Sarah, Sarah, I can't breathe, that's not panicky. Well, he's done this again, but he's never been locked in a suitcase before. Well, no, y'all. Now, again, you hear her, I didn't mean, like, this whole concept of going upstairs and falling asleep, I was waiting for him to show up. Again, y'all, I'm so excited. If I was in the courtroom right now, y'all, I'd be literally coming up over the table. They need to let me come up in there and at least do some of the opening and ending statements, right? I mean, come on, right? We need this to happen, okay? The part where she says, I was expecting him to come back upstairs. Then why are you now saying you were afraid for your life and had to get, like, this was part of that? That blows that right out of the water. Right out of the water. I am done. Let's keep going.
I thought it was the boy crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my plan...
But nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking. He is begging. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments. Like you're mad.
No. Please don't... I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but, like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to, like, feed me. Like...
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Well, I know what...
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
I love, but this is, okay, hold on, I just had a brain malfunction. So many things went through my head. Okay, so first of all, you heard her, but you weren't drunk, but you were doing this, but you're doing that. You see how they're catching her up and all of her stuff? They are so quick. Now I'll give Sarah this. She is quick too, okay? She's on it. She's sitting here able to do this, which really surprises me. But you heard the detective like, well, no, we're just trying to show you the video that you now don't want to see because you probably don't want to see the outcome. And Sarah up here, can I just, I feel like y'all are feeding me. Feeding you what, girl? No. Literally, they haven't even done that yet. You've seen, if you follow true crime and whatnot, this might be your first case here, introduction to true crime, I don't know. But if you follow true crime, if you've watched these kind of shows and whatnot, you'll see where we've seen what it looks like when a detective feeds somebody answers and steers them and gets a wrong confession and that kind of thing, right? No. So the fact that she knows to say, I feel like y'all are feeding me this information. No, girl, we're just literally showing you stuff and you won't be quiet. So her whole thing of like, oh, I was scared, I was this. Have we seen a one little ounce of that? No. She has so much to say because she's trying to talk her way out of it. She's scrambling. Anyone would in this situation that was presented with this kind of damning evidence, anyone would literally be like, how do I get out of this?
Just because I went upstairs and just
You
because
told
you're
us-
drunk doesn't mean that
You told us times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mhm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well,
I
we're
get
just
it.
trying to make sense of it. We're trying to
get it.
figure out what
We're
you're
trying to
saying.
figure out this
You
video.
explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was... My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to... He'll be up here any minute.
But
But
you
again-
willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase,
So why didn't you take him out?
because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he can't
I didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
I didn't do it intentionally. That's literally all she wants to say. Again, you're listening to Sarah's logic, and it's just this circular logic that makes no sense because it doesn't make sense. I believe she wanted to punish him. They were drunk. She wanted to punish him. She wasn't thinking clearly. We get that. Even though she wants them to think right now that she wasn't drunk, she wasn't this and that. Of course, now we know, fast forward years later, she wants to say she was intoxicated. Everything she's trying goes against the original evidence. But she's sitting here, well, I was going upstairs. Well, why'd you do that? Well, I don't know. Now, again, in the beginning of this right here, where the cops basically like the dude, the detective, he's like, it's my experience. If somebody doesn't remember doing this, that's intoxicated. Oh, I get where you're coming from. Yeah. You've painted this picture like it was this fun little evening of self-reflection and wine by the fire as we paint and sing and hide and seek. And now this comes out. And again, when we look through the lens of battered wife, battered this, this is not giving that at all. I thought he was going to come upstairs. Well, I didn't think he was going to do this. Well, I thought he was going to get out. All these things, and it's like, but you were afraid for your life, though, right? This is what we understood at this, now that we're understanding. I'm dying to see what the psychologists have to say. Now, depending on when this comes out, they might have already come up and whatnot, and so this, you might be like, well, Paul, they already said that. We'll see, okay? But I am dying to see what they have to say.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not giving it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't.
No.
No. Okay. But again, this part right here, she is absolutely sinking her ship. Absolutely sinking her ship. Just these couple of minutes that we have watched of this, there is zero way she should even be thinking about trying to do bad to her spouse. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, but this to me is very, very damning contrary evidence to that. And look at how insistent she is. Oh, I was waiting for him to come upstairs. I thought he was going to come up. It's why I left the thing open. So again, look through the lens of now what she's saying. It's like, but if you were so afraid of him, why would you give him a way out and then sit there and berate him and wait for him to come upstairs? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, that didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the whole...
You tell us.
It's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was, like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't, that, you all...
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't do
George.
that to him either.
But yet we have a photograph of her with Lucas in a suitcase. I mean, there you go. Now, also at the beginning of this, it was the drinking. It was the drinking. Now, she might at this point be, that's why she's coming back trying to say, oh, I was drinking. I was still drunk. And that was mostly specific to talking about the interview that she did. But, well, how would you still be drunk? Or, hungover, intoxicated, under the influence, whatever you want to call it. The cops are presenting a very normal picture here of questioning. Why would you do this? Why, if it was a joke, if it was this? That's how we are. That's just how we are. That's what we do. Okay. Then how did it get here? And of course, I just will say this a million times at this point. When they play this in court, plays. No, absolutely not. I hope they played the whole damn thing in court. All, whatever it is, 2 hours and 155 minutes. Every last bit of it in court.
I wouldn't do that to him.
So, I just...
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what I've done for him.
But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you any appreciation.
He did.
Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you bring up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you. You couldn't breathe. And you verbally several times told him just fuck you.
Well, you said it in the video, but you won't let us play the rest of it because you don't want to...
When I say cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I think so, too.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating, though, so, I mean,
yeah.
That's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
No.
That's how I felt when he said, Sarah, I can't breathe. And you told him,
I don't know what you... This is...
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
Done what?
Zipped somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do you all not think... So you all think that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you guys are trying to assume? Or trying to, like...
The video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us.
I mean, notice when they told her, well, what would you do? She diverts that, because that's the obvious question. Well, Sarah, if this isn't bad, what would you do? The cheating thing, again, I've done so much for him. And again, if you know me, I hate using the word normal or regular, whatever. I don't know what you would call it, but let's just go ahead and use it. A normal person listening to this, hearing the statement she's making that circle back to what he did, what I did for him, in this given set of circumstances is so abnormal and disturbing. She goes back constantly to the entitledness that she feels for what she's done for him. Like this buys or anything. And then the cops are just kind of calling her out like, okay, that's great, that's fine, that's dandy. But that's contrary to what we're seeing on the video. What's so fascinating about this case is that you're watching a person who has probably lived her, I don't say her whole life, but a good amount of it, mastering the art of manipulation and gaslighting and all these things with her back against the wall. It would be stressful to anybody having these cops come at you in both directions and like, brrr, but when you're trying to keep up with all the BS that Sarah must be trying to keep up with, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. It would send me over the edge.
No.
It is not leading up, it is not matching what statement you gave us in the car.
So,
And that's why we want to know.
and I don't remember doing those.
The injuries are not consistent with what you've told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really, truly does.
You don't think that I have thought about that?
Thought about the video or thought about...
But no, again, if you don't mind, please. So you all are assuming that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming?
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
That's what happened.
And the video...
It's not. So she's trying to gaslight him. So y'all are assuming that's what you said happened, and the video kind of shows it. Where are we supposed to go with this? Once again, I'll say it a million times. Looking through the lens of the two things, the matter why, the scenario, all that. How does she even think that's possible? How does she think that's possible? But also when she gets a little bit of footing, and when I mean footing, like when she starts to see something she can get her, grab the rope by. So in this, we all are assuming that that's what I did. It's, again, her best scenario here is, am I under arrest? Do I need a lawyer at this point? That's the questions that should be coming to her mind with feeling this. But she's so focused on proving right and getting out of it. That's the downfall of people like Sarah. Now, oftentimes they might not find themselves in some scenario like this, but they're so convinced, and when I say downfall, like the downfall for themselves, they're so convinced that they can get their way out of a scenario that they don't see reality. They are so fixated on this that they're their own worst enemy. They can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, I mean...
But I'm not going to say...
You thought he could
Those
get out on his
yes.
But the video shows that he cannot get out on his own.
But when I unzipped it with one finger.
From the outside.
But it had the hole in it.
And you're claiming that it had a paper clip, so that's what assisted you in doing it.
No.
Is what you told us.
When I had my sweatshirt, I said I thought it had a paper clip on it. It's got...
But the zipper part is broken.
Yes, which is why we were going to zip it.
Yeah.
I just...
You were able to unzip it from the outside very easily, because that's the way they're designed.
But you could on the inside, too. I don't know how...
Well, why wouldn't he have gotten himself out if he could?
I don't know. I don't know if you saw, where the hole was. I don't know.
I didn't see a hole.
No
I
one
didn't
sees
see
the
no
hole.
fingers
You're the
sticking
only
out.
one that's what I'm saying. Like, he's in one position, and where his head would be, we should be able to see fingers. And then when it's flipped over onto this right side, again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers, and we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
So this whole part right here, well, I use the thing to get it out. Listen to how much she keeps saying that she left the hole, she left a way out. So that is the part where I'm like, how are you going to come back 5 years later and say battered spouse? And I was put in this set of circumstances. It none of it aligns with it.
I'm not assuming. I haven't assumed anything. I follow evidence.
But my intention was not, again, oh, good, I got him in there. Now I'm just going to go to sleep.
What do you think someone that knows nothing about this or hears just a little bit like, oh, they were playing around in a suitcase
She's been drinking
and then watches
probably
that
went
video?
to sleep. That's what happened.
But you let him out before. I mean, you put him in, so why didn't you take him out?
Because I was upstairs and I fell asleep.
This circular thing, I mean, it will drive, it's like the who's on first scenario. Now, again, look at how she comes in. Don't assume the way she's trying to grab a hold of that, but it also tells you her mindset. She 100% does not see anything wrong with what she did. She, I'm guessing, maybe looks at it as a tragic accident. Like, oh, sorry, I mean, we were doing whatever, and then, I went upstairs and fell asleep. Now, there's that evidence that I haven't laid my eyes on it personally, and again, they could have already testified at this at trial. As when I'm recording this has not come out yet on the stand, of the person who, whether it was a maintenance person or an apartment person or a neighbor, whoever, was saying something to the effect of, she said something like, I was teaching him a lesson, things got out of hand, or whatever, something like that, which is a huge component of what I think went down with this case. And I think that is going to be what bites her in the butt. Now, here's the thing with that concept there, when she's now trying to say, oh, well, it was an accident, and oh, well, I mean, you heard the cop. What do you think a normal person would say? That she got drunk and went upstairs? That's the part where it's like, but Sarah, you're still accountable for that. And that's taking out of the picture that the man is telling you he can't breathe. That's where you get into the component of, I was teaching him a lesson, but of course she's not going to say that, right? I mean, nobody in their right mind would, although at this point I'm surprised she didn't, okay? She is going to just knuckle down and convince herself, or try to convince them, no intention behind it, therefore this was, whatever. Let me get away with it kind of a thing. It was an accident, let me brush myself off and go on my own way, and whoops, sorry it happened. And that's what she would do. And that's what I think she's trying to do. I find it completely bizarre, completely interesting. I just had this one thought. I wonder if, and again, right now the trial is not completely underway when I'm filming this. By her turning down that plea deal, I wonder if she's thinking, well, I want to be able to come back on appeal. So if in her muddled thinking, either she's thinking, I'm going to get off of this, or I'll get it on appeal and get out of this courtroom and get it taken care of. Or if it's at some point she'll say, hey, I'll take your plea offer. I'll take your plea offer. Let's redo it. I'll take your plea offer. Who knows? Now, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, mainly because it is now officially playtime. You've probably been noticing in my arms. Bo is ready to rumble, okay? He is scooting all around. Isn't that right, Bo? He's had enough of Sarah Boone. So that's it for this installment. Let me know, especially in this installment here, knowing what we know now, what do you think of the dynamic of her saying, I was waiting for George to come upstairs? Just that through the lens of what we looked at. So that's it. Again, I know this is a longer video. I appreciate you staying with me and watching very much so. And if you could, as you know, drop some little sofas off in the comment section for myself, Rosco and Spirit, Bo and little Luke over here sleeping, and one sleeping and one playing at this point. And that's it. I do appreciate it. And until we get to meander our way on down into the comment section and hang out on said little sofa, talk about all the crazy stuff we talk about here at the Sofa Squad, we'll see y'all soon. And hey, y'all, shout out to Screwjam again for making this video possible. Don't miss out. Download Screwjam now using the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. You're going to receive 3 hours of infinite life and 100 coins. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Rosco on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.